Hello, beautiful posse. Dr. Jennifer here, the Meta Doctor. So, I'd like to read an excerpt from my book. Why not? I'm also, if you found me, then you're found in the units. There's going to be like some readings and things from books, poetry, whatever. Just some fun stuff. But in this sense, this is from my book, Bliss. So this is related to bladders, cystitis, UTI, incontinence, all things nasty that way. And during the book, as you all know from having read it, I have little interludes, and sometimes they're linguistic interludes, sometimes they're metaphysical interludes, and sometimes they're comedy. But in this sense, it's the linguistic part of the linguistic interlude. So it's like that far in the book. And it says linguistic interlude and clues. I'm a linguist, it's true I am, and love to study words. Our ancestors left us clues when inventing language, reflecting how we used to be way more aware of our bodies back then. The words may have changed with time, but the meanings remain. We were great storytellers. So notice how we use the following phrases related to the bladder in some way to denote negative emotion. Now, that is following a little part where I explain about the metaphysical links to cystitis. And one of those things is that the bladder resonator frequency, very similar to frustration and anger. Therefore, if you're chronically frustrated or angry, you may end up with some sort of cystitis, even though it might not medically be found. It would be what I call a metaphysical correlation. And similarly, if you suffer chronically from bladder issues, you may end up being very frustrated and angry. So, notice how we use these phrases. So it's interesting that we say pissed off. Or if you're in American, you say pissed. I love American. Pissed off, to mean angry, frustrated, right? Piss taken, or piss takers. That's very British. I don't think they have that in the States as much. But, when you take the piss. So piss takers are people who take the piss. Literally take your piss. Why? Why do we say that? To mean someone who's abusing you. Taking the mick, that's another one, but who's amusing you or taking the mickey out of you is what we say in the UK. Taking advantage of you. And then there's pissing on my bonfire or pissing on your fireworks. Weird, isn't it? Like you can imagine. Yeah. And that means basically stopping your fun. And what I've written here is piss on your fireworks means your fun and joy are taken away. So piss takes away your fun and joy, or pissing on your bonfire does, right? Pissing on your grave. If someone pisses on your grave, that's huge disrespect. Getting or being pissed means being drunk, or vulnerable. Wee or yippee. All right, they're not negative ones, but I'll put them in there because we quite often want to go wee when we go down the slide. Yeah, to me, I see the urine going down the urethra. Wee! Having a slash. Now, to me, that's a negative way of saying going for a wee, because slash cuts like a knife. So when you've got cystitis, that's exactly what it feels like. I'm piss poor. I love that one, right? That denotes poverty. Now, poverty is another link to cystitis. Or the belief pattern to be. Read the book if you want to know about that. But being piss poor, that actually goes back to Victorian times and before, when they used to sell your urine. So you're that poor that you pee in a bucket and sell your urine, and people would come around and buy the urine to do tanning with and things, right? And if you're really poor, then you don't have a pot to piss in. And that basically means you're so poor, you don't even have the pot to piss in, so you can't even sell your urine. I'm not sure how anywho, that's how poor you were, right? Piss off, right? That's like a command to tell someone to go away because they irritate you. Irritation, piss, cystitis. Being on the piss, now that could mean getting drunk, but it could also mean a bit wonky, imbalanced. You're on the piss, you're basically imbalanced. Being in a pissy mood, right? Again, that's irritation, irritable. Peeved, I'm really peeved. to be annoyed. Peed my pants, pissed my pants. That's when you got really scared. Fear is also a link to status. I'll have a pee, please, Bob. Now, that's actually a UK saying that's come since the 80s and 90s from a game show we yesterday ago, but it's basically joking about needing a wee. I can feel it in my waterworks. That's like intuition, knowing something deeply. Oh, here come the waterworks. That's usually means when someone's crying to get attention. I wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. Again, that's a sign of really hating someone. Go with the flow or against the flow. Being or getting bladdered. Now, that in the UK means getting drunk. Being filled up with alcohol. Pissant. We don't have that in the UK, but I think it's so cute. That's an insult in the USA. Pissing in the wind. That's basically doing something that's a waste of time or totally ineffective. So, there's a few more, but that gets you juices flowing. Pun intended. So yeah, just to say, linguistically we leave ourselves clues, and it's really interesting to see the ones that relate to bladder, water, piss, flow, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that was just a little excerpt from Piss to Bliss. It's not just about bladders, well it is, but it's everything to do with bladders. And if you know me, which I think by now you might, it's not written in a boring academic or textbook or medical kind of way. There's hardly any Latin in there at all. But there's a lot of piss. Ha! Anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed our little linguistic interlude. Bye for now.